It's Gotta Explain to Stay Only. What it is we just took our last look at our Today Special. It's still available. It's okay. You can squeeze in and get the blue, and then we have the Anna color available as well until midnight. But what happens when we do the last look is you watch for extra special savings and deals. That means the price and the flex pay on this actually ends at 11 o'clock with the flex, the price at midnight, and it's a brand new set of these beautiful big embossing folders. So Anna, embossing folders give you that raised texture that you find on very fine stationery.
Yes, they do. And this set of 4 is so beautiful. It's a set of 4 Christmas patterns. This is the Christmas tree. I'll back up one because we started with the beautiful poinsettia. That's a 5.5 by 12-inch folder, and the pattern is in perfect repeat, side to side and top to bottom, should you want to create something tiled to make a much bigger embossed statement. The third one is a beautiful tossed ornament pattern. Isn't it pretty?
It's gorgeous.
So, first thing comes to mind with these is scrapbooking pages because of the sheer real estate of the embossing. And you see how, doesn't that look like an old tin ceiling?
It's gorgeous.
So beautiful. Each one of these is designed, you see how, this actually shows you the repeat really well. See that snowflake matches that snowflake? And so if you put 2 pieces together end on end, you'll have a continuous pattern.
It's like putting up wallpaper perfectly.
Exactly, it's like stamping.
But easier.
Yeah. So what's really fun, let me actually show you some scrapbook pages first, just because
She's only got a couple hours of sleep today. We've kept her busy.
And almost 80 products. Okay, so here we go. So when you're scrapbooking, you definitely want to cover the whole back of the page. We have a cute little seam in the middle here just because, you know, it adds to the design element. But we've colored them in with markers and ink so that the relief actually shows up really well.
That's pretty.
Okay, now another way to do this is to take a piece of paper that is 5.5 by 12, like our metallic layers. I already scored this in half so that I'm going to make a gatefold card. So I scored it myself because the pattern is continuous. But what's really fun is that when it goes through the Cuddle Bug, you know, we're going to emboss the paper perfectly. And those little scores are going to allow me to make that card fold in on itself. So here we go. Beautiful snowflake pattern, plain before. It's kind of like a magic trick, isn't it?
It really is.
This is really great. So plain before, beautifully embossed second. All right. Perfectly done. Now, all you're going to do, I mean, you know, I can add all kinds of embellishments to this. You know, it's got, let's go like this way. You can, I think you want to make a little belly band to keep it closed, but as I hold this, all right, so we're going to take, how about a glitter sticker that looks like the snowflake in the center, right? And one of our 120 sentiments right in the middle. So that little band is going to let you open the card, but now you have a beautiful gatefold.
That's really pretty. And again, that's one pass. And it's so magical because you put any piece of paper inside there and use the patterns. And then on the back end, it's like, wow, it's like Cinderella, you know, when she's in her ragged clothes and all of a sudden, and she's in this beautiful gown. It's exactly, to me, what the magic is about it. It's always refreshing. It's always fun to see. And there is something really special about just getting these beautiful embossed patterns so easily. By the way, on the Cuddle Bug, which is the machine that Anna's using, we're down to the final about 90 remaining. We have a special flex on the Cuddle Bug that's good for today only. I think it's 3 flex. So if you want to get the machine, you don't have it yet, we have that available. Also, too, you see her working with the longer, we call it a sandwich, the plates, the longer plates. We do have the longer plates available as well, so we'll try to pop an item number up for you for the extra long plates to be able to use this with it.
Okay, so one of the things about these folders that's really special is that this is by customer request. People, people have said, I love your everyday 12-inch folders. Could you please make a Christmas version? Well, okay, we did.
Good. Yay.
Isn't that fun? So, especially for those that love to scrapbook, because you really need that full 12 inches, and embossing is usually done in about 5 by 7, you know, and then those little small borders. So, with each one of these projects, we've done something different to the folder. This one has been inked, you know, with a rubber stamping ink, and that gives gives you that little blue cast to the silver paper. And here we've done the exact same thing with the gold ink over the embossing. It's like a rubbing, so it really brings the design forward. Okay, really pretty.
Lovely.
Okay, let's make something. Let's turn red paper. This is again those metallic layers, plain red paper. This is the Christmas tree pattern. And what's pretty is that in between each one of the Christmas trees, there's a little star. And so if you wanted to actually cut those out, you could snap mat that on your Cricut and cut these out.
How insane would that be?
Because it's really just a triangle shape. But you know, even if you're ingenious and you want to actually, you could trace around the Christmas tree and upload your tracing and cut it exactly.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, and something else we didn't mention too. Darn, we had so much to get to on the Cricut. On the Today's Special, if you have an image that you love, maybe you are the mom of the cheerleading squad and you want to make team t-shirts, you can actually take any image and get it into the Cricut Design Space system and work with it. How cool is that? So we didn't mention that. I forgot. I think that's such a neat feature.
And that's done for free. That's
totally
you know, as a
free.
designer, that's one of my favorite things about the machine and the software is uploading things that I want to test cut. We do it in our office every day.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what we did without it.
Isn't that funny? Hand cut it. Took forever, right?
Well, we did, but and it didn't really look good. We didn't know what would happen. Okay, so back to embossing. What's really fun about the Cricut is cut shapes and then bring it to your Cuttlebug and emboss patterns into cut shapes. And with this, you're going to get an edge-to-edge emboss because you know you've got such a large folder.
Yeah, it's great. Well, also too, and think about it, you could load up 2 different colors, pieces of paper. So when you're making that first pass, you're actually doing multiple colors. So if you're going to layer it, and you want the same pattern in the background, it's going to work perfectly for that. Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
Is that
This is done with embossing ink.
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Embossing powders and ink on the embossed design.
That's
so
really
we're
pretty.
double embossing.
More is more.
That's right.
That's your philosophy.
I think that's what's happening on this card too.
Okay, a couple quick reminders on this too. This is like a mini Today Special. So remember, we've got 5 minutes to go. We're gonna wrap it up, but the price ends at midnight, just like our Cricut Today Special value. On top of that though, which is even more important, I think, the 3 Flex Pay ends in about 20 minutes. So if you want to use Flex and get these home, this is a special holiday edition. It's a very limited special holiday edition of these beautiful large 12-inch by 5.5-inch embossing folders. And you know, while we love the Cricut for many, many reasons, it doesn't emboss yet. I figure someday they'll figure that one out.
Oh, I've asked for it.
Right now, it can't emboss. So the only way to get that effect is to have the folders and obviously have the Cuttlebug or a machine that you can run the press through. So I just think this is a wonderful way to add any kind of wow to a card or a scrapbook page or a tag. You know, we talked about tags earlier. Look great on the background of a tag.
So what I'm showing you here are the square cards that you can actually make from the 12 by 5.5-inch folder.
Cute.
So I showed you the gatefold, right? We're using the Say It Anyway stamps on the center. The gatefold works beautifully, but this is really fun. Just the fold over at the 6-inch mark gets you this kind of card that opens up. I really love the, we never make a square embossing folder. I mean, we've done them for every day. We've done little square patterns, but nothing this big.
Great.
And
I love that.
Yeah.
That looks so neat.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
and
just a couple of scores, right?
Yeah, just by hand and done in seconds. And it looks like it took you just, a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a fancy card.
I like things like that where, again, we're using our Say It Anyway stamps on the inside of the card.
Which are coming up.
Yeah, this is really great. So each one of these, very unique. You'll notice that what's different about each card is that they're embossed. That's the common denominator, but everything looks so different from one another because you're using your own papers, you're using your embellishment, you're using an embellishment from 2006.
All the leftovers I have?
That's what that is.
And I want to show you too, this is really the magic. So this is the way the paper looks. And you can use any paper in a cardstock, whatever. So you use it in there and then look what happens. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of paper, but isn't it just all that much more important and special and unique and expensive looking just by running it through the embossing system with these folders.
It's highly embellished, and that's probably, you know, that's my thing. I think the more embellishment, the better. The more you can do for your crafting and do quickly, I'm all for it. Right?
Me too.
I'm not at all for laboring over projects. Look, this is the deboss. So we've taken the rubber stamping ink and inked the other side of the folder, and so the design is pressed in like letterpress, okay, instead of on the top.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think once you start embossing, you really can go back to plain backgrounds?
No.
No, I can't either.
No.
That was a trick question. It wasn't a trick question. I knew the answer. But isn't that the truth? Like, you look at it, makes such a big difference for so little effort that you really can't go back to just doing plain paper.
Right, right. And this is really a pretty example, is that we've used one of our frame dies to cut this beautiful shape, but then we've gone back and embossed the shape, the pattern into the shape.
That's great.
And it matches the background pattern. That's the attention to detail that I think, you know, our products really make, for those of us that are anal retentive, it makes you really, it makes you happy.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
It's like, oh, I like all
look
that
how
detail.
Pretty this. I mean, there's a snowflake. It could be from any of your card kits.
Yes.
And now look at the background, how beautiful that is. And if that were plain, it would still be a pretty card. But boy, it's just like getting those really fancy wedding invitations. They're so much more impactful when they're embossed as opposed to being just a plain piece of paper.
Right, right. And one after the other. You've got beautiful embossing. It's the mark of fine stationery embossing, is that, you know, like it's a secondary process that costs a lot of money. It involves a die. You know, for here, you're doing it yourself, and it involves a folder. Yeah. It's really pretty. And mix and match your patterns, put them with papers. All of this goes with, I know you saw our beautiful botanical dies tonight. We have, this is the poinsettia folder to go with that. You know, all of the things mix so beautifully. Snowflake dies, now
look,
snowflake
tell
folder.
me what you did on that. Explain that one.
Isn't that pretty? Oh, this is the edge of our festooned frame die.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
It's just cut up.
There, and you used it as the background. You used these dies as the background.
Yeah.
So again, you know, when you think about this too, think about all the real estate. And again, a lot of bang for the buck. You know, it's like, okay, I've got this much time to make a really great little sympathy card or a thank you card or a birthday card. And what I like with the snowflake too, that's very generic. You can use that all winter long. So if somebody has a birthday in January, that's gonna work. Some of the patterns too, when you play with them, it really just adds texture without really knowing what that image is. So a lot of times you'll be able to use these for other reasons. That's kind of neat about it as well. But if you got a little bit of time and you want to get the most impact, I'm telling you, run that piece of paper through the embossing folders and inside the machine, and boom, you really get a powerful texture that changes the look of anything that you're working on. That's beautiful.
Right. I absolutely, well, 3 different pieces, cut 3 different shapes, makes a card that has a lot of interest to it, but all embossed with the same pattern.
Isn't that neat? Oh, guys, you're gonna have so much fun with this. Okay, now almost 1,400 of our This Day Onlys have been ordered. Just remember, the Flex Pay now ends in 15 minutes. The price is gonna end